What's up, y'all? It's the Shamanist Shank, and I'm back at you with another one. And we got a pretty dadgum cool one for you today. This knife took me down memory lane, and it's pretty cool because I think that was the purpose of the actual creation of this knife. And it's a really, really cool one. And the knife we're reviewing today is the EMERSON EX-100. Look at that. Good old down home boy right there. That is a looker. Man, oh man. That is gorgeous, guys. Look at that. And I'll tell you what, the really cool thing, I mentioned, this knife brought me back down memory lane is because, not just, of course, not just from what I've heard or what I've read, but just the feel of it feels classic EDC, out in the woods, out on the pond, anywhere you can think of, just a good old down home EDC everyday user, guys. It is amazing. And then the really cool thing about that is EMERSON actually out of his mouth said this knife is what pretty much the inspiration from this knife came from, knives his dad carried, knives his uncles and, his grandfather carried. And, that all boils down to like the Buck 110, the Buck 112. And this pretty much is his rendition of that knife. This is pretty much an EMERSON Buck 110 to him. And of course, a Buck 110, a Buck 112, they are completely in their own world. They have their own, and rightfully so, they're absolute legends. I love those knives to absolute pieces. But this is pretty much EMERSON's rendition of that style of knife, from blade to ergonomics to just down home feel. So guys, let's get into it. You got a 3.5 inch beautiful clip point blade there coming in it. He kept the 154 cm on this one, tried and true. You have as you see, the black G10 basic has left the building on this knife, and I'm really glad they did that because it really does make this knife stand apart. And I really do think they did the right move doing that, because this knife is every bit of an EMERSON, but it has a different feel to it. There's a couple of EMERSONs in my collection that have, per se, the feel of this knife, the emotion this knife gives me, but this knife definitely needed to stand out on its own, and I'm really glad they did that. Now, as you see, this does have a black pocket clip on it. If you buy this knife fresh out the box, it comes with a satin clip, satin screws. Got the screws for you on there to make that arrowhead thumb disc pop from Collis. Just had to kind of do my own thing to it, and I really do like it. I really do love it. I want some more of it, if you know what I mean. But it is an absolute beaut, guys. And as I was saying, EMERSON he had knives of past days in his mind, the Buck 110, the Buck 112. And this, this blade shape, this blade length is kind of the perfect medium in between those two knives. I mean, if the Buck 110 coming in at a 4-inch blade and the Buck 112 at a 3, this is that 3.5 right there, that perfect medium. And of course, this blade is a good bit wider than those knives. And I'll break those out just to compare and show you real quick here in a minute. But it is an absolute looker. The handle on this knife, of course, if you're familiar with EMERSON, you can kind of tell right off the bat, it is a bit of a modified CQC grip on there, which feels great, feels amazing. And actually, to be honest with you, it's pretty much spot on with the COM7 grip, which of course is another modified CQC7. I'll go ahead and show you that right now. I mean, look at that, guys. I mean, they're pretty much the exact same handle. There may be some minor baby hair tweaks in it, but nothing off the charts. Kind of the exact same grip. Feel the same too. The EX-100 does feel a little bit hair longer than the COM7 with the handle, but yeah, you get what I'm saying there, guys. It's kind of derived from the same idea there. But yeah, beautiful knife. Feels amazing in hand. It is an absolute beaut. And guys, this knife has been off the EMERSON website for a minute. It was first released, I'm not quite sure what year it was. I don't want to put a number out there and not be sure, but not too crazy long ago. But he first released this knife only to the Collectors Association, which is a group you can join on EMERSON. Anybody can join it. You just pay a fee and you get like this, you get perks with it. If a knife is released, you get first dibs on it. And sometimes knives like this are only dropped for you. That's only you can purchase for the time being. But yeah, I'm really glad that he opened this knife up to the website, for any regular old Joe like me that's not a part of that to buy. And it is amazing. It feels like it's nostalgia all over again. And if you looked at any of my past videos, I reviewed the Buck 112 and the 110, but the 112 was a knife that my grandfather gave me when I was very young, fishing with my grandmother, and I used the heck out of that knife. And this knife really reminds me of that knife. Of course, it's not a Buck 112. It definitely isn't, and I would say far from, but not so much. It really does have that nostalgic feel. It just feels right. It's a good old down home, downright user, and with the looks to match. I really am impressed by this knife. I can't go into it enough. It is amazing, and it really checks every box, guys. You really cannot go wrong with this knife. This knife is, of course, if you're not a complete psycho like me, buying knives out the yin yang, this really is one of those one and done knives. It really is awesome. If you want a great everyday user, that looks great, will hold up. I can't say go get it right now before it's off that website. I think I looked this morning, I think there was like 17 left. So yeah, if you see this knife and it appeals to you, I definitely highly recommend it, guys. I definitely do. She is a beaut. But as you also may notice, this knife is not adorning the Emerson Wave. And another thing I'm really glad they did with that too, I'm really glad they left the Wave off of it. And I praise the Wave, and I still do. I love the Wave, but this knife just feels right without the Wave on it. If it had the Wave, would I be mad at it? No, I wouldn't, but I understand why they didn't. It's just, this knife is a different kind of Emerson, and Emerson's an Emerson, but this knife just, to me, I don't know. You have to hold one, and I've said it in many of my other videos, some knives you just have to hold to stir up that emotion in you. And I really do think, and I do love knives. They do stir an emotion in me. If you're watching this video, hopefully you feel the same way about, knives in general, but they do stir an emotion in you, and you just feel like, wow, okay, I can see myself, in this scenario with this knife. I can see myself, carrying this with me wherever, I may think to go with it. And this knife just screams outdoors and just brings up good old memories of just being out there in the woods, and just a good classic knife. This knife ain't saying pull this knife out, defend yourself, which it definitely can. It's not a cold-blooded murderer looking thing. It's just an absolute good old boy. I can't say it enough. But yeah, this knife is absolutely phenomenal. And as I was saying earlier in the video, the inspiration for this knife, out of the man's mouth himself, Emerson, he said the Buck 110 and 112 were pretty much the inspiration for this, and knives of the good old days. And with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and break out the Buck 110. Now, of course, this is the Buck 110 Pro, but hey, it is what it is. But as you see, that blade is substantially, not substantially, but about a good, ½ inch longer, as it would be on paper, 4 inches compared to 3.5. But as you can kind of see what he's doing here, guys, I mean, it's beautiful, beautiful clip points. Love my Buck 110 Pro. This knife is a dandy, and there's a review on that if you want to go check that out, but I can't let it steal from the EX-100. And another one, of course, that perfect medium, as I was talking about. I got to break out the Buck 110 Pro, of course, and as you see, with this being 3 inches and this 3.5, it's kind of, it's that perfect medium, guys. It's for me, the Buck 112, when I was a kid, little tyke, on the ponds, this knife was perfect, and still is a perfect, wonderful EDC, but that 3.5 and above for me now as an adult, I really do go for that. So, but yes, that perfect medium, meeting both of these buttes right in the middle. So yeah, absolutely phenomenal. Love my clip points. Yeah, it is amazing, guys. I really can't say enough about it. I really do hope you guys enjoy it as much as I do, because it is an absolute beaut. There's no doubt about it. But yeah, this really is a one and done type of knife. But like I said, not for me, baby. No, I'm playing. No, really, guys, I got to pump the brakes on it. I really do. Yeah, right. Yeah, this knife is phenomenal. Go out there and get it. It's still on the Emerson website, depending upon when you're watching this video. Of course, it's August 8th. It's the 8th month, August, and it's August 6th, 2025. If it's on the website, go grab it right now, guys. It really is phenomenal. Yeah, I really can't say much more about it. But yeah, this knife would feel right in any situation. I really can't think of a situation that it wouldn't feel right in. I mean, of course, if you need to defend your life with the knife, of course this knife will do it. You know, a lot of knives will do that. But I mean, this knife to me is just, it's just a classic pocket. The weight on it is absolutely phenomenal. I think it's right on 4 ounces. Perfect. Rides great in the pocket. If you've ever carried a CQC7 or the Com7, same thing. It really does feel extremely light. This gray G10 feels just like the black. Maybe a little bit. I don't want to say grippier. I guess it is kind of the same. You know, it really is cool. Like I said, and again, I'm really glad they kept they kept the gray G10 on there because. You know, with this being a knife that was released for the Collectors Association, a lot of people speculated that they would change that to black just to kind of keep that one special. But no, he kept the gray on it. And I'm really glad he did to kind of make this knife its own, you know, because this is the only EMERSON that's released, you know, on the website, you know, that comes stock in this gray G10. So it's absolutely amazing, guys. If you love it, go get it. I really can't say enough about it. It is absolutely phenomenal. And also another clip point that I've been loving on, the Wild Horse. Yeah, but he recently released, you know, from the past year. Yeah, a bit of a variation there, guys. A good bit of a variation. I ain't gonna lie to you. I do love the length, that 3.7 blade of the Wild Horse. That is absolutely phenomenal. But and both of these knives do stir up that emotion in me with, you know, just a good old boy outdoor knife. But yeah, they both definitely feel substantially different. We got a CQC7 grip here, CQC8 / Mini Horseman grip here. So yeah, they both feel absolutely phenomenal. But I do love the extra blade length on that Wild Horse and the slenderness of it. But you know, you really couldn't go wrong. You can't go wrong. This is out of stock. This is in stock, and you won't regret getting it. I promise you that. You really will not. Well, guys, that pretty much sums it up. I really do hope you guys enjoyed. Please, oh please, if this knife appeals to you, which I really don't see how it couldn't, because it is an absolute beaut. And man, it's just taking a walk down memory lane, baby. Taking a walk down memory lane, hand in hand with the EX-100. And let me tell you something. If you already get on that website and you already get the EX-100, and when it shows up in that box and you pop it out and you're like, damn, the shamanist shank was right. I gotta get out there. I gotta relive my childhood. I gotta get out there and show these woods who's the boss around here. And when you're doing that, you're out in those woods, and you know what, and the time comes for you to pull out that EX-100, and you're like, you know what, I need to, I don't know, stab a tree or something. And you do that, and you stab this bad boy in a tree. I want you to say, damn, that's sharp. And you better stay sharp too.